story that many have heard, at least in part one, but part two is something new that I haven't shared with but a few people. A year ago, October, I was at Her Spirit Writers Conference in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was in the lobby, and a friend greeted me warmly, and we had an exchange, and then she said, "Do you know Brynn?" And I said, I know of Brynn. I have certainly heard about her and her adventure, but I haven't met her myself. I don't know her. I haven't been in any workshops with her. And my friend who was in the lobby said, well, she's really struggling with her cancer right now. And she's here as one of the recipients of the scholarships for women who have either come through cancer or are in it. And so, but she's really having a hard time. I was wondering if you, Jane, might be able to offer your gift to her, dance with her. And I said, I would love to do that. I have kept her in my prayers, but I would never push myself on anyone. So I just thought about her and prayed for her, but I would love to dance with her. Have you spoken to her about this? And she said, no. And I said, well, talk to her first, because it's, I'm not for everybody. We know this. And she said, I will talk to her, but I think that she'd really like this. I'm like, great, then I would love to. Just let me know. So I received a message that Brynn was open, and so I later arrived at her suite and went in and I greeted her warmly, saw her beautiful face and her beautiful spirit. And she told me her story about what she'd gone through and where she was, and showed me her beanie and that it was keeping her bald head warm, but she wasn't feeling great, and a lot of nausea at that day. I said, well, let's see what we can do to ease this. I said, that's great to work on that, but what is it that you want? What are your intentions? If I were to dance with you and you could wave a magic wand over any part of your life, what would you wish? And I said, do you want healing? What would you like? And she said, that's a good question. Yeah, I would. But I'm also equally at peace with going over. This has been rough, and I've had a really beautiful, beautiful life. So I feel like it's okay if I transition. So I just want peace with any of it. Ease. Okay. Sounds great. So I said she could sit, she could lie down, whatever she wished. And so she lay down, and my hands began to dance. And as they're doing their scan, all of a sudden I'm aware that there's something up there. I'm like, that's interesting. She said, what? I said, well, there seems to be a circle of laughing Buddhas right up there. And she said, like, I don't normally see laughing Buddhas. They're not part of the pantheon that usually joins me, but I am very happy to see them. Do they mean anything to you? And she said, well, I'm a Buddhist, so maybe that's what it is. Like, oh, that would be it. Surely. I go, what's the laughing part? Is it laughing yoga or something like that? And she said, I don't do laughing yoga, but I appreciate it. Like, well, we all appreciate laughing yoga. It just seemed to be very merry. I'm glad they're here. So you have your friends here laughing with you. So we began to dance, and some more. And then all of a sudden, an adobe wall right in front of me. Like, an adobe wall. And, I mean, we're in Santa Fe, that would make sense, but there wasn't an adobe wall out of her window. I asked, do you have an adobe wall at home? No. Like, well, there's an adobe wall here, and I began to see the texture of it. And then as I'm looking at the texture of it, trying to find the symbolism, hoping it wasn't a block to all that we're doing. As I'm looking more carefully at the texture, all of a sudden the wall just goes to molecular. So a little bit higher first. First it was, I just see the sand, and then I see the spaces in between the sand. So we're in the quantum field. This is a beautiful image for the quantum field. And I realized, of course, as we always know, this is where all the healing happens, all the transformation happens, all the mana happens, the magic happens in between these spaces. It's not the solid parts, but it's in between, and this is where we dance. That feels good. That feels good to see that. And I tell her that. And then as I'm sharing this about seeing the sand and seeing the spaces in between that was once a solid wall, the sand drops to the ground. And then the laughing Buddhists come down and begin making a mandala of the sand. They are making a mandala of what seemed solid. They're making beauty from it. Let's dance with that. So we continue to dance and up and down, and finally it's all done, and I say how you're feeling, and I feel a little less nausea. That feels great. And then she looks over and she said that she actually has, and I saw too, a pile of sand where she was. There's a pile of sand. I said, well, did you go where did you go someplace? Were you emptying your pockets, or what where is this sand? She said, I did not go to any beach in Santa Fe. I did not gather sand in my pockets. There's just sand here, so like, wow, that's pretty cool. When she gets home I think she's in Phoenix, maybe Arizona. She said that she also found sand in her pockets. She did find sand in her pockets then, and she doesn't know where it came from. She was glad to find it a few days later. Okay. So, as I arrive at her spirit this year, I hadn't checked in with her for a while. She had been dancing with me over the subsequent months in this year, but I hadn't seen her for about 3 months, I think, maybe 4. But she had been coming to Quanta Circle. She'd been doing all sorts of things, and she was still struggling, but she was hanging in there a year later. Or there, when I saw her, her cats were on top of her helping, because animals do that. It was lovely to see, but as I arrive, I feel remiss that I hadn't checked in with her in the last couple of months. But I hear that she hasn't been doing well. Darn. And then the next thing I hear is that I receive a text that she is going home from the hospital into hospice, that it was time. But I check in and I see, it's not quite time. She still feels peaceful. I know that it was painful at that point, but she still feels in her frame peaceful about this, where she's going. And I see that she's got more time. So I text her and say, I'm sending you my love. Anything I can do? She said, please, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Keep dancing for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so like, okay. So her spirit ends. I come home. Cut to Christmas Eve. And I'm like, I haven't checked in. I must write Brynn right now. And so it's late Christmas Eve, and I just sent her a little message, just sending you all my love for this journey. just on the phone, like I just feel the float of her beauty and honor her and bless her and thank her. And then Christmas happens. I'm in a whole world with my own mother's health. We have the big storms here in Northern California, big storms, lose power, all sorts of chaos is happening. And I haven't checked back in, but all sorts of stuff is happening. And then on the 27th, so 3 days later, because I texted her on Christmas Eve, I receive a text that Brynn has passed. I check in again. I sent her my love. I can see her in the float of all that is, and she is one with that peace times a million. She's just in a great place. I just feel this, but I don't have her in my face. I just feel it. I feel that I watch this plane of where she is. I'm grateful. And then the storm, and then the storm, and then the storm, and then the power outage, and then the mom, and all the things that are happening. So I've been up all night long. I've been up many nights in a row. This is the part 2 of the story. Many, many nights in a row, doing the night watch for my mom. She's been in the ER days and days, and then into CCU many more days after this. And I'm wiped out. And it's Christmas Eve, and I am being so we're at New Year's Eve, and I'm with mom, and it's great, and I am tired, and I have another shift to come back to. So I go home, I try to rest. I have a friend who's also going through something with one of his family members, and so I don't have any power at my house. My phone is almost dead. I'm gonna go to Starbucks because it's the one place that I know has power. I'm gonna get some hot coffee, and because they're on the hospital grid, I am gonna be okay, and I can plug into my car, and I can call my friend. So I do all these things, and I feel tired, but I feel efficient, and I'm in this flow of the all good, and finish my phone call with my friend, and okay, now I've got to go and go take care of mom. And so I try to move my car out of gear, and I realize, oh, my car's not on. Oh shoot. Oh, my phone, it didn't charge. Oh shoot. Uh-oh. All right, better turn it on now. I gotta charge somehow, because I don't quite have time for all of this. And I realize my battery's dead. I have been talking on the phone for 45 minutes. But would that kill a newish battery? The battery's 5-6 months old, maybe 7. Battery's dead. So oh dang it. So I call AAA. Everything's automated, which is so frustrating, right? I just want to talk to somebody. But I get talk to the animated app and hear that a car will be on its way as soon as it can. It's now New Year's Day, right? Everything's closed. Northern California has been blasted by this huge storm. And I look and it says the car is minimum, or the truck is minimum hour and 15. Okay, I look at my watch. All right, I still can make it. I'm going to relieve my brother from my mom's shift. From watching mom. And so okay, I can do this. I'll go back to Starbucks and wait for the truck. Starbucks is now closed. They're out of coffee. Close the lobby. All done. Only the drive-through. Can't drive through. I have a dead car. So that is all right. So I go back to my car. Okay, this is a great opportunity. I have a nearly dead phone. It's on the red. Nearly dead phone. I got my park on. I'm cozy enough. I'll just take a nap. I'm tired. Maybe this is a great opportunity to take a nap. So I lean my seat back, and I'm there okay. My brightness is going a million miles a minute. All right. And I oh wait, I have something in my car. Hold on a second. moment, pause. All right, so I realize I have a book in the car. It's sealed. I was going to give it to Ruby or Violet, but I didn't. I decided not to. That they had lots of books already. It's all sealed, but it was a book that someone had recommended to me as a gift, and so I thought I could read that book. So unseal it. Look at the cover. It's Talking with Angels. Like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for me right now. Calm me down. What is it? And it's a book that was written 1944, 45, about 4 friends who came together because they really wanted to be able to raise their spiritual connection, and suddenly they were able to talk to the angels. And it's just a gorgeous, just what I read was just what I needed to hear. And it reminded me so much of what I felt like when my gift began opening up. Like, well, how do we know this is right and true? How can we discern, the good information? How can I be a clean vessel, with integrity? And how can I just, this is what they were talking about, these young women that had gathered together, and they were asking the angels. So I read and I'm so happy. I'm like, what a great gift. So that's why my battery died, because I needed a break to connect to this, because I haven't been able to read. I've been so busy with everything that I haven't been able to read, and I haven't been able to read and write anything about my story in months. So, great. So I put the book aside and I check my watch. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been like an hour and a half. So I check the app, nothing. So I call again and oh no, we still don't have a truck for you. It's a really busy day out there. You can imagine everybody's lost their power. All the people are doing what you're doing. They're charging their phones in the car, and you can't. And there's a lot of traffic because people are trying to get things between this little storm, or big storm, but we had this little window. So oh shoot, that's not going to work. And so I tell the people, look, I finally get someone on the phone. I have to get back to the hospital. My mom is in bad shape. She needs me there. And well, we'll do our best. We'll try to find somebody. Thank you. So I okay, wait, I'm going to call my brother and see where he's at, and see if he's left the hospital already, because I was supposed to be there. So I call him and I said, do you have any jumper cables? And he said, no, but I can go buy some and then I'll come and jump you. It's going to be another half hour. Oh, okay, that's all right. All right. That's good. Mom will be okay. She'll be covered by the nurses for a little bit. We can do this. So, all right. So let me clean up the car a little bit before my brother gets there, because, that's what I do. I've been living out of my car. Coffee cups, napkins, maybe Kleenex, and then the one book. But the back seat was pristine because I was saving for the book that was back there, because I cleaned the car the week before, but the front seat was kind of a mess. So I'm picking up, I look in the back seat and oh, there's something there. And so I start, and then I'm what is all this? And I realize when I look at the mat that where that book had been sitting, there was sand, and I was wiping all this sand on the floor of my car after reading the book called Talking with Angels, a week after Brynn had passed over. That she had figured out a way to say, I'm here. I made it. So it touches me so deeply today. We live with grace as she did, to be okay with all that is, to dance and play in those spaces of love and light, to create mandalas, to create new mandalas. Oh. And I remembered that part of my text to her on Christmas Eve was, I'm looking forward to seeing your new mandala. It's a kind of messy mandala on my car mat, but it's the beginning, isn't it? New life. Happy New Year for all. May you live in the space when the walls seem solid. May you live in the spaces of grace and ease and flow and great divine love. Peace and blessings.